Hello everyone, it's time for another speed build, and that means it's time for another renovation in Willow Creek. If you guys want to check out the previous builds we've made for this save file, the playlist is up there. But right now we are in Crawdad Quarter, which is basically the French Quarter in New Orleans, and the French, like the actual French Quarter, this neighborhood is mostly community lots. And right now we are renovating movers and shakers. It's a gym downstairs and a bar upstairs? Question mark? Because come on, they didn't even try. They just placed a bar and stacked some cupboards, and bam, you have the shaker part of movers and shakers. Now you have to bear with me on this one because at first my plan was to have a gym and a yoga studio. I actually finished it with a yoga studio and I was just placing some bits and bobs for like decoration and all when I realized that it doesn't make sense as a yoga studio. I mean, yeah, you have a makeshift like yoga studio with the yoga mats and all, and if you're adding it to your game you can just add in the actual stuff from spa day if you want to, but I didn't like that it's not really usable for base game, and so I turned it into a bar. However, it was too small and I wanted to have some, yeah, well, I turned it into a sports bar. I was actually saving that up for later, but I turned it into a sports bar, and like I said, it's too small, and I wanted to have some gaming bits there as well, so I bulldozed it. Um, because I already finished it um with the with the sports bar, but I realized it's too small, so I had to bulldoze it, and so I um had to build, well, not build, but you already have the shell, but it was quicker than like building a an actual shell. So I basically just did the same thing with some changes, of course. So at first the yoga studio was just downstairs, but when I turned it into a sports bar I also used a bit of upstairs. I wasn't sure about the exterior. I know it's a bit dark, but I looked for inspiration online. And like I said, when I built the museum, I really wanted this part to look like the French Quarter as much as I can make it, or as much as the game will allow me with like the limited stuff that we have. Um, I know I said it all the time, but I mean, come on, it's space game. There's really not that much, but those buildings, like those actual buildings in New Orleans, they are old, and the way they make it colorful is how they like decorate the streets. And when you see like photos of it online, you have those balconies with flowers and flags and and beads during Mardi Gras. So we again, of course, we didn't have those decorations in base game. So I really, yeah, it's dark, but I really like the interior. I think it made up with how like dark it is in like outside. I mean, I think it's also like the the bar part is still a little dark, but I mean it's a bar, so it would make sense to have like a darker interior as well. And I think there is also a better floor plan than the one that I have, but I really like it for my game. I like how it turned out. The original build has a balcony on each side, but I removed it and just kept the one side because I don't think it's necessary for a gym, and I was planning to leave that design for the bar next door once we renovate it. And I want that to look like the Bourbon Street in the French Quarter. I think when you Google um, like French Quarter, you that's the first thing that you'll see. I think it's in Bourbon Street with like the flags and like hanging plants out, like out, like on the balcony. But yeah, I made it look like two separate buildings on the outside, but inside it was connected. I mean, just a bit because I used just half of the second floor for the sports bar. So for the gym, we have a wee reception area and then some exercise machine at the back. And then upstairs, we have treadmills and a couple of punching bags. I placed all the gym equipments that I could find really. Um, and then I wanted a bit of like a warm up area. So we have a couple of mats to give that idea. And I also add in a television because you can use it to exercise. And I know it's the biggest like deli that we have in Kilm, and maybe like it look really big, but I think the space could take it. Now I'm not sure, but I think you can also use a music player to exercise. um so I added that one as well. I wasn't sure if I should like close off the boxing area because I think it would make the room look small, but adding a wall really helped with a warm-up area because I was able to add more mirrors. And I wish we have gym clutter here, like the dumbbell display from Love Struck, but hey ho. And we also have a small locker room. At first it was just like two rows. It wasn't even a room, it's just like a divider. But when I add in the wall for the boxing area, it looks really big, and we'll have more empty walls since we don't have that much wall decor. Um, but yeah, so I added in another row of lockers and closed it off. And then so this lot was made to look like two buildings, like I said. So I used half of the second floor of the other building to build a loo and shower area. Now it took me a long time to build that part. I wasn't sure how I wanted to look like. Well, I don't think I know how it should look like. It's been years since I went to an actual gym, and the original one that we had on this actual build looks insane. I mean, I only been like in a couple of gyms in my entire life, and I don't think like I've seen a a how like well like a shower area and a comfort room the way they built it like in this slot. So, and again, I'm sure there is a better floor plan for that, but I don't mind how it turned out for my game. um at first we have like four showers, think, for each, so a total of eight. And yeah, I know that's too much, so it's not going to fit as well. So now we only have a couple of showers in each room, a couple of toilets and sinks. I also added in the vending machine from the Happy at Home event. And oh my god, it took me a while to find that. So at first we have I added in like a fridge to have the idea of, they can get drinks and all. um, and I thought I just hallucinated having a vending machine in base game, but turned out we did have one, and I think it's in miscellaneous appliances. It was really hard to find, but it's there. And thinking about it now, I was wondering if I should have added a vending machine downstairs, but I don't think there is space for it. I was thinking of maybe I should have added it on like under the stairs, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I did add it like before I finished the build. I was able to find it before I finished the build. And at the back of the gym, I made it look like a car park just because I don't like that it looks empty. I mean, what else can you place outside aside from like, I don't know, like a seating area? Um, and I kept the trees that we have in the original build, so I had to work my way around it. And now it's part of the sports bar, so we really can fit that much cars here. So I just added in like a couple of um like debug cars. Speaking of, like I said, at first I was thinking of making a yoga studio. So my plan was to have a small garden area overlooking the yoga studio since we already have the trees. So I kind of like separated it based on how big the buildings are. But now for the sports bar, it has more sitting area, and I added a couple of gaming tables because having a garden there, it's not going to it doesn't make sense because like right next to this lot there is a, I think it's like a park. I'm not sure, but yeah, we already have that, so it's not going to make sense. Like I said earlier, I wasn't planning on having a bar here since we have an actual bar next door, and I know we would end up having the same decorations because, again, we don't have that much. But then I remember we have sports bars, and I was thinking of actually adding, well, aside from okay, like aside from a yoga studio, what else can I have here? And at first, I thought of adding because we have mics, so maybe um, like a bar with like an open mic area. Is that what it's called? I don't know. But yeah, I think we can add that like on the bar, like on the bar that we're going to renovate again. Well, as well, like the bar next door. So yeah, like I said, as I remember sports bar, and I don't know if that was the idea when they built this community lot, but one of the things that you need for a sports bar is a television to watch sports, but I didn't have that in the original build, so maybe not. Um, and yeah, sports bar makes sense because it's also connected to gym, right? So yeah, I think it would be having a sports bar makes sense. So now we have a big bar and a television above, and I also added in like all the gaming stuff that I could find in game or in base game at least. We have darts, which I think is a sports bar staple, and we also have um, yeah, we have like a nook for it where I placed a chalkboard so you can write down like the highest score or something. I never played darts, so I'm not sure if that's how it works, but it's there if you want to. And also you can, like, if you want to remove that, I think you can add in like another um window. And I was hoping we could have like an arcade, but alas, we don't have one in base game, so I just placed a couple of those gaming tables and gaming pads. And that was actually the reason why I had to pull those my first renovation. I already changed the yoga studio to a sports bar, but it's too small if we add those gaming stuff. um so I was like, yeah, that's not going to work. So I tried it again, and now we have those gaming pads upstairs, along with a smaller bar and like a television, a few sitting area, and then we also have a couple of tables on the balcony, just so you can have a place to put down your glasses if you're watching a parade or something. So yeah, like I said, the balcony is not going to make sense for a gym, but it can work for a bar, even if it's just like a small balcony to watch like a parade or something. Speaking of tables, we only have a couple. Um, well, we only have a few choices for circular tables here, and the one that I think would fit in this bar has a very like modern art deco style matching dining chair, and I really wanted like a bar stool style chair, but of course it won't latch to the dining table as it should, so I used the base game one made by Hey Harry, I think. I don't really like the other dining chairs here because they are too bulky. um Yeah, they are too bulky for the table, so it might not be an ideal choice, or the one that I picked might not be an ideal choice, but with the darker swatch, I think it works. I wish we have more wall decor that is connected to sports, but I think we only have a couple of like posters, which I used here multiple times. I just scaled them up and down to, like, make it different. But yeah, I don't. I think I use the same swatch. Well, it only has one. They only have like one swatch, and I use them a lot here. Of course, there is no landscaping here aside from the trees at the back, but I added in some like plants on the balcony to replicate those colorful decors that you see when you Google French Quarter. Um, they also have a lot of those signs, and most of the signs that we have in base game are for jazz bars. So I used a neon cocktail sign instead, which is still on brand for French Quarter. But I really wanted a bar signage, but we'll save that for the bar next door. We have those like really big, like jazz inspired, um, like wall arts. But again, it's really not a jazz bar, so it's not going to make sense for this build, but it will really be like a perfect um decoration for the bar next door. Um so speaking of the bar next door, I think I'll save that for our last renovation in this neighborhood. I will renovate the library next just to mix things up. I'm not sure how that's going to turn out because I don't know where I shared this, but I think in one of my like videos I shared that I already built the Willow Creek Library. I already renovated it, but I don't like how it turned out. I think it's okay. I think it's okay, but I don't know. I just after like after finishing it, I think I was able to finish the interior, but I kind of spaced out when it comes to decorating the outside bit because there is um I mean, what else can you put in like the outside aside from like a sitting area, and it's not going to make sense because there is already like a park outside. But yeah, I don't know, there is really not that much that we can have like in outdoors, so maybe I'll just place another sitting area, but we'll see. Maybe well, maybe we can have like a cafe or something. um I'm not sure how that's going to work out in base game, but yeah, we'll see. um that's going to be a problem for future me. When I was editing this video, the new expansion pack was just released, but we have a stop motion build for my building new quest series scheduled and create a sim video in between. So right now I am exploring the business and hobbies pack, and building some Amsterdam inspired apartment, and oh my god, I really love it. um I don't know if, well, I think it's Amsterdam inspired, right? With how the buildings look like. But yeah, I'm not sure. But whenever I build something like that is in like a specific word, I always make it look like the builds around it. So yeah, I think it's Amsterdam inspired. I'll talk more about it next time. But yeah, what do you guys think of the new pack? I'm so happy that we can finally have like multiple lot types. I actually have that as an inspiration for my next building new stop motion. So we have a coffee shop and an apartment upstairs. um well, yeah, I think I'm going to like talk about it now since it's a stop motion build, so I really can't, I don't really like well, there is like no voiceover for my stop motion builds. So I built it like right next, well, for that build I built it right after the pack was announced, or not announced, but after we have um like the promotion, what do you call that? Like the video with a preview, like, yeah, the preview and the gameplay um video that they did. So like we already have an idea of how it's going to work, how it looks like. So so we have a coffee shop and an apartment upstairs. It's just like a small coffee shop and a small apartment. I really wasn't well, at first I was planning on having like a multiple um apartments, but yeah, I think it was like a coffee shop downstairs, like a whole apartment upstairs, and a couple of other like smaller apartment on the third floor. But I think it's too big, so I just have like one apartment, like a whole apartment upstairs, or at the top of the coffee shop. So yeah, I think I was able to finish it actually. Yeah, I think that is it for me. Let me know what you guys think of the new pack. Have you guys tried it? And I hope you guys like this renovation. If you want to add it to your game, it's available in the gallery. My EA ID is veronicahills, and like this video if you did. Subscribe for more speed builds and renovation. And thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in another one. Bye!